introduce you please to a lump of cheddar cheese. Lift one, power one, drop one, cow one. Kick it. Me mama, me dad and me gran, we're off to Waterloo. Me and me mama, me dad and me gran, and a bucket of Vindaloo. Bucket Vindaloo, 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 na na. Vindaloo, 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 na na.
Hi. How are you? I didn't see that I'm in the Sleaford Mods video, but I might. Thank you, Helen. Anyway, how the devil are you? Helen says, did you see that I'm in the Sleaford Mod video? No, I didn't. But we did see them filming it, and I seem to recall. Thanks, Linda Law. I seem to recall that they said something about turfs. I can't remember, but they said something about us. So I might have to look. Anyway, I'll look. I know that I say that I'm brilliant and it annoys people, but I am brilliant. I am. I'm so brilliant that I've made a Union flag pink scarf. So let me just undo it a bit for you. So look, no matter how you wear it, you can. I just thought for those amazing women, and also for all you amazing women, really. But yeah, it's a lot more vibrant in the flesh. So this is a really quite nice, deep pink, and then that's like a light pink, and then white. But if I show you the actual real color, that's the real color on the photo. If I do that to my screen, then it no longer looks like I don't have any features, and you will see my very old 51-year-old face. So I can't do that. Anyway, so we've got this. I'll put this on again, actually. If you like that one, or you can get yourself a suffragette one. Let me just do that. You can get yourself a little suffragette one. It's so nice. And that is the color that you can see there. And why do I sell you this merch? Well, mainly because I'm a grifter. And I would like to go to St. Lucia on holiday. Or it might be that I'm demonetized everywhere. So I just actually need some cash for my activism. I mean, you make your own mind up. You make your own mind up. Anyway, from one grifter to another, I'm going today to defend Tommy Robinson. Let me tell you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you something really interesting. And we're going to talk about how the state successfully persecutes people and stops you, let me just do that, stops you lovely people from being able to see right from wrong. And I just want to say, you can tell me anything about that man, and I couldn't give a shit. Now, that might mean that I lose some sort of something. I don't care. I don't care. Let me explain exactly why, because I think this is the best way I can tell you all as to why I don't believe people. I don't believe the state when it persecutes people. I believe that we should be listening and working out why the state has gone so hard on someone. And that's what I want to say about that. So let me show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to show you something about the lovely Lucy Connolly. So let's see what Lucy said, shall we? Let's see. And make sure that you can see that. Why won't you do that? Hang on one sec. Screen share. It's not actually letting me show you what I want to show you. How weird. Hang on, let me just do a different one then. Let me just go to this. There we go. Don't know why it wasn't doing that. We'll just switch that back to that. Okay. So this is the all about Lucy Connolly's case. And I think this is really interesting. Okay. So childminder admits inciting racial hatred, right? So what did she say? She said, as we can see here, she called for mass deportation and to set fire to hotels housing immigrants. And she put, if that makes me racist, so be it. So they got on the racist bit, if that makes me racist. But what she'd actually said is, if they set fire to hotels, I don't care. For all I care, I think she said. And then they got her on that, and it's using threatening, abusive, or insulting language to rile up racism online is unacceptable and is breaking the law. So incitement to racial hatred. Now, I want us to compare that with this man, Layla LaFay, who threatened to kill, blind, and break the backs of women's rights campaigner Kellie-Jay Keen and Helen Joyce. Right, so let's just remind ourselves, Lucy Connolly got 31 months in prison. So clearly, if there is a man that has threatened Helen Joyce and myself, and let's see what he said. He said, I'm a trans woman. I'm not ashamed to admit I'd be happy to physically kick the shit out of you and pull your eyes out and break your spine. And he said, if you want to prove your point that some trans people are extremely violent, I'm game. And that was to me. I think the other one was to Helen. I'd be interested in setting fire to our house with her in it. What else did he say? I think that might be it. And then this is what Helen and I said in response. So just again, this man said he's would like to physically kick the shit out of you and pull your eyes out and break your spine. And he said that he would set my house on fire with me in it. Now, what happened to that man? He got a suspended sentence. So this is why I don't trust that just because you're convicted of something, right? Just because you serve time in prison, I don't believe that actually makes you the whatever it is that the state has framed you as. I've had police at my door for being untoward about pedophiles, right? And I'm telling you, the reason there were so many people on that march is not just because of the fact that they agree with Tommy Robinson, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, whatever you want to call him. I don't really think it makes any difference to the message. But people were there because, not just because of the message, but also because he's been so massively persecuted by the state. And what we normal people know, we the normal people that watch our neighbors who happen to be a special group, they get to build on land that they're not supposed to. They get to not pay council tax. They get to take the piss. They get to have the police force come, and they know the law better than anyone else. And they also know how to use the police against other people. So that's why the kind of, he's a convicted fraudster. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And if you're still allowing it to work, then you're a bit of an idiot. Right. So the thing I also wanted to talk about today is this. So Millie Hill, part of the sourdough set, the acceptable face of, I think they call themselves gender critical feminists. Oh, actually, before I talk about her, let me just say this. What really made me laugh. Some people going, oh, and what was really funny is there were people with England flags and Union flags buying curry. Like they were, they're buying curry and they're queuing up to get foreign food like Thai curry and masala and like a Greek bap, gyros and things, and like they're racist, and they're supposed to be racist, and I'm thinking, yeah, well they're not, then are they? Like you've just proven your own theory in a heartbeat. You've just proven that it's wrong. That those people aren't racist. They just have some concerns about immigration. It's so demented. It's so demented. What is this? Emma T, an illegal has been trying to get into a school today. The primary school went into lockdown. I think we ought to start being apoplectic with rage when these men do that. And whatever it has to be that we do to those people to stop them would be acceptable as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, so yeah, it was so what made me think is, yeah, these people are queuing up because they like going to their curry houses and they like their Indian neighbors. And there were Muslims on the march. Like, these people aren't anti-people, they are anti-systems that mean that their lives are that the lives of their children are less safe, the lives of themselves are less safe, their neighborhoods are less safe, and they just feel like they're taking the piss out of. These are the people that have to wait 3 weeks for a doctor's appointment, or that elderly mothers sit in a corridor in the NHS hospital and die in the corridor while waiting to see a doctor. Now, I'm not saying that it's 100% the fault of migration, although the NHS is full of people waiting to see a doctor for an emergency appointment. If you go to any city emergency room, you will find a lot of people that have English as their second language. Now, I don't know how long they've been in the country, but that's a very visual display of what people are talking about. And it might well be that actually we could manage this if the elites managed it properly, but they're not. They're not doing that. So until they do that, then unfortunately, we are going to talk about a boatload of illegal people entering the country illegal with no documentation to prove whether or not they're mass rapists or murderers. And the fact that so many of them, disproportionate number of them, actually are pretty bad people. So anyway. So I wanted, let's go back to Millie Hill, because she, for me, she totally encapsulates exactly what's completely wrong with the people who criticize the march. And what they don't do is a number of things, which I outline in my response. But so hers is called Right or Left, I Want No Part of Extremism. And I'm going to say to you, she says she wants to firmly distance herself. And one of the things she wants to firmly distance herself is me. Now, these are some of the things she says, and I find this really interesting because I just think she's wrong from the off. Like, her premise is wrong. Everything about this is wrong. So for a start, she uses the word male people, which I think is weak. Actually, they're men. Let's call them men and boys. And when she talks, she says women. She doesn't say female people. So she is talking about adult males. So she says male people. So that tells me that she's already in a camp of people that can't quite speak properly because they're too frightened of saying the word man. She's been totally coerced by extremists to no longer say the word man because she's frightened to say the word man. So she's obviously been influenced by far left extremists, and I do fear for her because you never know. By next week, she might be wearing a hemp dress and dyeing her fringe blue. So she says, sports, prisons, data, blah, blah, blah. I find the idea that woman is a costume you can put on a bit insulting. So while I support everyone's right to dress how they like, I don't support the idea of wearing a dress and lipstick magically makes you female. Again, this is where we part company because I don't think everyone does have a right to dress how they like when they like. I think you have a right to dress however you want in your own home, but actually coming out into the street and being and participating in society, I do think there's rules and regulations on dress. But I'm not trying to signal to my liberal mates. I don't give a fuck whether or not people think I'm right or wrong, or I'm a nice person. I really don't care about anything to do with that. But I understand that she's still really trying to make everyone think that she's just a really lovely, reasonable person. And she also says, because of this, I'm aware I have one area with which, if I sat down for a beer with Trump, the late Charlie Kirk, or Tommy Robinson, we would agree on just one. Well, I'm sure there's loads of things they would agree on. They'd probably agree that murder is wrong, that paedophilia is wrong, that raping children is wrong, that grooming gangs are wrong. Although, you wouldn't know about her views on grooming gangs because I couldn't find anything in her whole Substack kind of portfolio that said anything about that. Or about the murders of girls. I mean, I didn't necessarily look through everything, so I'm prepared to be wrong, but there was nothing that I could see that was talking about grooming gangs or rape gangs. So maybe it's just not an area that she's not as concerned about grooming gangs as she is about whether or not I might have sat at a table with Tommy Robinson at the weekend. So I'm just saying that her priorities, and I make no judgment on that. It might just, the grooming gang thing might have slipped her mind, or it's just not at the top of her priority list, unlike who I might choose to spend some of my time with. So, I make no judgment. So she's sort of saying, I very much doubt we'd share any common ground whatsoever than agreeing that people can't change sex. So that's what she's decided from the little she knows about those men, that there's only one thing they could possibly agree on, and everything else they probably wouldn't agree. As opposed to thinking that most normal people, we agree on loads of different things, and then there's some really big issues that we probably disagree on. But again, I'm not in her. My job is not to make people like me. My job is to highlight my position that enables other women to actually speak about their own likes, dislikes, interests, and point of view. And hopefully that's like my role in this movement. If I belong to any movement, my role is to ensure that we're continually pushing the Overton window so other women can actually enjoy the view. So she also likes strict gender roles, neatly symbolized by high heel shoes. She's raised her children gender neutral, meaning they could play with whatever toys they're drawn to and dress in whatever clothes they like. And can I just say, for a woman that didn't go on the march and didn't speak to anyone on the march, and obviously doesn't fraternize with people that might go to football matches and like the Union flag, she totally mischaracterizes repeatedly what she thinks. She's made up her mind that someone that went on that march is probably a gay hating man who likes his wife wearing low cut tops, dyed blonde hair, and would probably beat his son senseless if he cried. Like, that's who she's decided all these men are. And why would she think that? Well, because she doesn't actually spend any time with the sort of men and women on that march. She doesn't talk to these people. She's already made up her mind about who these people are. So this is all like nurtured dollies. Can I just also say I had 3 boys. There's not one of them that nurtured dollies. They did like dolls. They never they didn't do that. They were more likely to do that with a doll. But that's just my boys. And the idea of reinforcing the reality of biological sex are mostly to do with their deeply conservative and often religious ideas about family, heterosexuality, and binary gender roles. And men adventuring out in the world and women in the home. So she still believes in gender because Christ knows. And this is a woman who has made her money in looking at natural birth and really understanding that women have certain qualities to do with our biology, but she can't actually extend that out to think that maybe that would have an overwhelming influence on women and womanhood as a whole, and not just when we're giving birth or having small babies. Like, I can't believe, anyway, that's an argument for another day, but I just find it, in order to keep in with the things that she believes make her a great person, she probably hasn't sat down and done too much of her own thinking on this. But I don't want to be like her. I might be wrong. And I certainly wouldn't want to make assumption from just the very few things that I've read that she's ever written. And this would be the longest thing I've ever read that she's ever written. I think I may have read a couple of her tweets. So anyway, so she goes on and she talks. She basically, men who want this reinforcement of the gender binary. So men, according to her, who don't like women with short hair, who think a woman is a spinny skirt, lipstick, long hair, and heels, right? She says that those were the sort of men on the march. And she says men because looking at the photos of the rally, it seems like crowds were predominantly male. So she thinks all those men want dolly birds, basically. That's what she's saying. She's made an assumption based on people in a crowd and the way that they dress, that she's decided that they wouldn't think a woman could have short hair. They wouldn't think it's all right for their son to play with dolls, and that there's some crazy people, right? And can I just say, Millie, if you're going to write about me, and I think my name's written in a number of places, I think it's discourteous at best to not be able to spell my name when it's quite clearly Kellie-Jay Keen, and it's IE with a hyphen. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. So anyway, so then she goes on about the support of Robinson, Trump, Kirk, and Musk from the high-profile gender-critical women is worrying. Because she automatically thinks if you support someone in something with who, in a bit about something that you agree with them, that means that you're not critical of anything, that you wholeheartedly agree with everything that they say. And that's ridiculous. I am not going to do the disservice to any of these men about highlighting the things that I don't agree with them on, because it's immaterial. It's immaterial. Fundamentally, what I do think is that they have the right, these men have the right to what they say. And there's also many, many reasons why those names are known. And it's not because they're bad people. And it's not because they don't inspire people. It's because they do. And I really don't want to enter into some of this where it looks like I'm apologizing and I'm trying to distance myself, because I think that's an act of a coward. So I'm not going to do that. And she also says here, I don't understand why women would support far-right extremists. Can I just say, and this is probably very undiplomatic of me, but I just want to say to you directly, Millie Hill, fuck off. In the wake of a man being gunned down in front of his young family, you still have the fucking just indecency, just grossness, just despicableness to still call him far-right. Far-right extremists. Far-right extremists is the words that we use to justify someone killing a man in cold blood in front of his wife and children. You are a fucking ghoul. So people have commented, I've read some of the stuff on Mumsnet that, oh, it's so good that Millie Hill did say that you shouldn't, you shouldn't say bad things to Kellie-Jay or something, I don't know. And I just want to say, fuck you all. Anybody that is still accusing people of being far right, you are the extremist. Far right means, and I said it before, I'm going to keep saying this until everybody understands. Far right doesn't mean people that speak up about grooming gangs, Pakistani paedophile rape gangs. It doesn't make you far right. It doesn't make you far right to be concerned with hotels full of men from cultures that fucking hate women, that think women are fair game, that think they have a right to stick their hands up our skirts and chase after us at night and rape us in the street. It's not far right not to want those men in this country at all. It's not far right to question our immigration policies. It's not far right to do any of those things. It is far right. It is far right to be a fan of Hamas, Millie. To be celebrating on October the 8th what people did on October the 7th, Millie. And I don't see anything about that. I don't see you saying that Women's Place UK are disgusting, because they said that it was about time that they celebrated, some of their members celebrated What happened on October the 7th? Like, fuck you, fucking far right. Absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. So anyway, so she decides that they want to undermine same-sex attracted people's reality and they're a threat to women's rights because she's decided that Charlie Kirk, a man recently killed for being called far-right extremist, amongst other things, she thinks it's okay to still call people far-right. What a fucking idiot. Oh, and there's a nice picture of me in my Union flag. She makes a comment on that as well. Other high-profile gender-critical women, like the famous artist Birdie Rose and AJ the Empress, seem to be going down the same route. Yeah, well, God, you know Aja, racist. You know Aja with mixed race. You know Aja. She's such a racist, terrible racist, and she has the audacity to sometimes carry both a Jamaican and a Union flag, like Nazi and like Black Power. Terrible racist. And then she talks about the extreme left. But my heart sank yesterday. Listen to this. My heart sank yesterday when I read what it seems to be an accurate news that there is a trans connection to Charlie Kirk's killer. It sank because I know this will only stoke yet more division, hatred, and intolerance. Yeah. What do you mean by that? What is that? That sounds like you'd rather he was killed by someone else. Rather than the truth of it is that there is a fucking problem with men taking hormones, killing people. There's a problem. There is a problem. Considering proportionately, there is a big fucking problem. Oh, this is making me I obviously skimmed through some of this. And then she's put the gender critical. And she writes about feminism. I don't think I can't be bothered. In just the same way, women who march alongside Tommy Robinson seem to have forgotten their history. The history I'm really interested in when I march alongside Tommy Robinson is the hundreds of thousands of girls that have been raped, like that close history. I don't know if you've mentioned those ever in your Substack, Millie, but that's the history I'm interested in. We know that there have been some good feminist campaigns, but tell me the feminists that have managed to get that many people to march in the streets. Because I can't think of any. I can't think of anyone like Sammy Woodhouse. She spoke to probably more people, a bigger audience in person than she's ever spoken to. And that was on the reputation of one man. That's who brought people on the streets. Why the fuck are you trying to make people feel afraid to associate with him? Do you want his audience to be microscopic? Do you think there's someone else that's going to manage to do that? Because you're an idiot. You're batshit crazy, fucking insane. It's taken that man going and spending time in solitary confinement for a civil issue. I don't even want to go into it, actually, why he's been persecuted by the state. But we can just see that a woman went to prison for 31 months for inciting racial hatred for a tweet that talked about setting fire to something. And a man who already had previous convictions for violence said that he wanted to rip out Helen Joyce's eyes and he wanted to set fire to my house with me in it. And he got a suspended sentence. So please, if you need it smacked in your face before you understand it, then before too long, that will happen. For all you people trying to maintain this, I'm a nice person, I'm so reasonable, I'm so nice. There will come a moment where you think, oh, shit. I wish I'd just spoken the truth. I wish I'd stopped trying to please everyone. I wish that I didn't think things in my head and try and reorder things before I spoke out of my mouth. So she says, so here's my one small voice. I'm gender critical, but that's where my common ground with these extremists ends. Actually, let me take that away. You don't have any with me on I don't call myself gender critical. I've never been in your movement. I've never been in a movement with these women that keep trying to associate themselves with me in their distancing themselves. I'm not in their movement. I'm not part of what you do. I'm not. I don't want to be. I want to be able to speak the truth about things without fearing like I'm upsetting someone. I just it's insane. Hatred, intolerant, racism, incitement to violence. Yeah, who's doing that? Like who is doing that? Except you by calling people far right extremists. That's incitement. That's incitement to hatred. That's intolerance. That's seeing things through a particular narrow lens, isn't it? I've also learned that every voice counts and saying nothing, those who are speaking are the ones will be heard and their voices will shape the zeitgeist. Yeah, so call people far right extremists then. So I responded. I came across a Substack, and then we just talk about what Nazism is, right? What is it? Nazism. It's all the things that we think of Hitler. That's as far as I'm concerned. When you call someone a far right extremist, you're basically saying they're Hitler. So if you want to go and have a look at that, you can. I'm just wondering, did you see all that then? Maybe. I just think we've got to stop now. We got to stop giving any credibility to these people that call people far right extremists when they know what a danger that is. You know, Charlie Kirk was a right-wing Christian, a conservative. And it's this sort of rhetoric, calling people far right, racist, extremists. It's that. It's that gets people killed. You know, when those people came in New Zealand, when they came out and they wanted to stomp me to death, they had Stomp a Turf. Posie Parker's a Nazi. Posie Parker's a fascist. Posie Parker's far right. Kellie-Jay's far right. KJK far right. Chrissy, I'm going to ban you from my channel because I think you're an asshole. So if you talk about Israel and Hitler, then you're blocked. Because you're an asshole. I mean, there's words I could use beyond that. So, yeah, I just felt the need to say that. These people are idiots, just crazy, and the word far right gets bandied about so much that you put us all in danger. You really do. You put us all in danger. So, I sincerely hope you think very carefully about what sort of target you are putting on my back, on Birdie's back, and on Adja's back before you continue this shit. Like, what do you want? What do you people want? If you think there is someone else that could do the job of Tommy Robinson better than Tommy Robinson, pick your man. Pick him. Find somebody who's really charismatic and articulate and is a moderate position that you want, supposed moderate. Let's do that. Let's find someone that will talk about that they will talk really effectively about illegal immigration, that they will talk about the grooming gangs, that they will take up that particular mantle, they will platform victims of grooming gangs, they will bring people from all over the world to talk about migration. Find your man or woman. Find them. Seriously. Find them. Replace him. If the government was doing a good job, that man wouldn't have to organize rallies. So find his replacement. I think he'd probably welcome the holiday. But he's not created something out of thin air. There are issues in this country that need addressing. And at the moment, he's the person to address it and speak to the people. The people that you say probably wouldn't like a gay son. Homophobes, racists, far right, extremists. He's talking to those people as if they matter. He sees those people. He recognizes those people. He is one of those people. And he's been politically persecuted. The same as many of us. And not to recognize it in someone else. Like how simple can you be that you personally have been at the receiving end of persecution, of cancelling, of being lied about, and you don't think for a fucking moment, is that what's happening here? Should I look at the things he's accused of? Should I find out the context of that? Should I think about it? Are all those people wrong? No. Absolute crazy. But anyway, if you'd like to take over from Tommy Robinson and you'd like to find a huge audience who would march through the streets of London and shouting your name, be my guest. We would all find it totally fascinating. But anyway, if you oh, and by the way, before you start writing all tweets about me and Mumsnet threads about me and how terrible I am and how stupid I must be and how I couldn't possibly know what I was getting involved in, I want you really all to go fuck yourselves because I don't care. I don't care. I didn't care when I was young. I didn't care when I started doing this. And actually, that is the thing that is unique about people that stand up for the things they believe in at great cost, is they don't care. They don't care. We don't care. We don't care what you call us. We don't care the things that you do to try and silence us. We don't care. And that, that will take an imperfect person often. That will take a person who doesn't mind pissing people off wherever they go. It takes the people that have had practice, that have made their shoulders so broad and so strong and their spine is so rigid that we just don't care what you do to try and silence us. We're still going to keep talking. Anyway, if you can buy yourself a nice Union flag scarf, look at that. Or you can get it in the normal colors. Then I promise we will win if you can stand up and be counted whilst looking really beautiful, which I know it's a hardship. Then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win, people? Well, because I never lose.